Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel Trading Secrets. This channel is for entertainment purposes only. For those who do not know, my name is Ali. I have over 20 years experience teaching accounting, economics, business and law. Through this channel I'll be providing some stock analysis and a quick update on the $1 Million Challenge. So if anybody's not aware of this, this is a genuine investment of $1,000 to a return of $1 million over a period of 3 years using a strategic or compound return investing. So the objective is try to get 201 trades, each an average return of 3.5%. It's not 201 consecutive trades, we do take into account losses. So for further details about how to join us for less than $9 a month, information is available in the description below. In today's video, we're going to be looking at an update for ticker symbol RGTI, also known as Rigetti Computing. This was up over 28% close of play on Friday, and there has been some significant catalysts shared in the Discord, so stay tuned for details of RGTI. We're also going to be looking at an update to the class action with regard to MMTLP, and also following on from the previous video, looking at some of your questions in terms of your submission of the claims for the proof of interest for MMAT and the update for 2025. So before we get started, let's have a look at what's happening in the market. So first of all, from CNBC, we can see here close of play on Friday, the Dow Jones did pop more than 650 points in a relief. However, overall it is the worst, it was still the worst week since 2023, and the recent times have been quite worrying. And from Market Watch, we can also see here a perspective from one investor. It states here, it has been a scary ride. My family has $800,000 in stocks. We lost 2 years of market gains in a few weeks. Do we buy or sell? So again, as far as my opinion on buying or selling, that probably depends on what kind of stocks you hold, but the blue chip stocks, the main stocks which always recover, certainly many of them in the S&P 500, it's certainly worth holding because they will always recover. From Market Beat, we can also see one of the consequences of market conditions is what's happening to gold, and we can see gold has risen to new heights. It has reached an all-time high over 3,000, and this is in response to the anxiety in the markets. So looking ahead to earnings this week, there are a number of important stocks being called that we will be watching in the Discord. These include Nike, they also includes FedEx, Neo, Micron and also Carnival. Let's now have a look at RGTI, also known as Rigetti Computing, and news was shared live in the Discord close of play on Friday, and this was with regard to other quantum stocks including RGTI, and the one that was doing best was ticker symbol QBTS. There was news on D-Wave Quantum, and that was also shared live in the Discord. That was up over 44%, but the one we're going to be looking at today, RGTI, that was also up a very impressive 28%, QUBT up 26%, and IONQ also up 17%. So quantum computing stocks were doing exceptionally well. So I'm going to be sharing with you some of the reasons why I think RGTI is looking like a potential positive from a bullish point of view. So first of all, recently they secured a $35 million investment from quantum computing, and they partnered with the company for the development of quantum computing, and this is for $100 million over the next 5 years. So that's good news for the company. They're also expected to release a 36-bit qubit system based on a 9-qubit chips by mid-2025, so we're looking at over the next 6 months. By the end of this year, they expect to release a system with over 100 qubits and targeted at 2x reduction in error rates from the current level. So good prospects there for RGTI, and they're obviously also looking to secure government and academic contracts, as well as carrying out more R&D. But I want to now focus on the chart. So as we saw here, close of play on the Friday up over 28%, closing at $11.22. So the market did recover well on the Friday, but I'm going to share it with you now the chart for RGTI for the previous 6 months. So remember, this is a stock that has been covered previously on the channel on a number of occasions, and it is a stock that we have been watching, and you'll be able to see here it's up a staggering 1,268% over the previous 6 months, and it also had a recent high of $21.42, and recently 13th of January came down to a price of around about $6.05. So right now it does look to be in a good upturn. So potentially I think below $10, if you can get it at below $10, could be a good price to come in at Rigetti Computing. However, one thing that I would like to share with you in terms of insider trading, the CTO did recently sell $2.5 million in stock, David Rivas, so that's one. However, I think from my point of view, it looks like he did sell too early. So I'm going to start by sharing a quick legal update on the Intercoastal Waterways case against TradeStation. So there is an appeal that has been submitted, and we're going to have a look at details of this appeal, which is with regard to a class action. So we can see here in the United States District Court, District of Florida, Intercoastal Waterways versus TradeStation, there is a notice of appeal that has been submitted, and this is dated now March the 13th, 2025. So we can see here in terms of the motion, obviously the plaintiff is looking to for the motion to reopen the action and for leave to be an amended complaint and incorporated memorandum of law. In terms of what they're looking for, they're looking to permit the plaintiff to file its proposed amended complaint, and what this is with regard to the class action. So they want to convert this to a class action. They probably will have more investors behind the scenes who are looking to join this, but at the moment they have not shared who they are, but we will keep an eye on how this develops. I'd like to now follow on from the previous video where we looked at the new proof of interest forms, and this is where you can now submit details of your MMTLP holdings, and this is in response to the updates from George Palikaros in terms of the subpoenas that were issued. However, remember that this is still obviously bankruptcy for metamaterials only. However, you can send obviously your redactions, and remember there is also an update in terms of the $28 redaction fee has been waived, so it will be free of charge. So I'm going to share some of the questions that were sent. So the first one is from KBAM68, and he stated here, posted from the UK for MMAT, do we send another form for our MMTLP shares issued when TRCH2? So I have said you can send them, but the claim will only be for MMAT, and because obviously Nextbridge Hydrocarbons is not bankrupt, and we hope it doesn't go bankrupt. However, that is still important in terms of potential evidence that could be linked. But remember, there's no harm in sending your forms again for 2025. Francis has gone on to say, what's the purpose of the form and what happens if I do not submit? So obviously you do have the options of submitting or not submitting. It is entirely optional, and the purpose of submitting the form is if there is any money left over, that will be distributed, and you will be entitled to any of that cash, and that does not affect any resolution, it does not affect any settlement. So obviously once the priority creditors have been paid, then obviously the money, any money that is left over, will go to the shareholders. So there is no harm in doing this, and there's also no reason why not to do this, because you're just sending a form and it's also free of charge. So let's move on to the next question from Mohammed, who stated he sent the proof of form earlier. He thinks the deadline at that time was obviously 18th November. There is now no deadline. He sent another copy in a prepaid envelope. They didn't bother to post any confirmation. Does he need to resend it? So you can resend it with the MMTLP holdings. However, you're not going to get postal confirmation. If you go to the court listener page, you can see a copy of your proof of interest form. They will file that for public display, and you'll be able to get acknowledgement and a stamp like I shared in the previous video. So remember, you're not going to get postal confirmations that your forms have been received, so go ahead to the court listener page to find that. However, you can also send them an email, and details of that was sent in the shared in the previous video. And the next question here is from Amber Dassett Impact 2742, who stated, when you send a new claim form for 2025, if compensated through the above bankruptcy channel, will the current share count settlement community, will you keep those shares? Of course you will keep the shares. It does not impact your holding of any MMTLP shares. In fact, the bankruptcy is actually for MMAT, not for MMTLP. Next question here is from WTF, and he stated, do we fill out for each broker? So what you can do is you can combine the brokers on the form and then obviously attach your screenshots, or you can do separate forms. I don't think it makes a significant difference. And COTG8029 has stated, do we keep our shares of NBH and MMTLP? And I think I've already answered that. Yes, you do. And the last question I'm going to share with you is from Frank, who stated, would we include would this include Torch LGs, he suppose, and it should also include the whole MMTLP and the conspiracy that goes back to them. So yes, I have stated it's MMAT MMTLP, but obviously TRCH OGs can also send details and proof of ownership and previous holding of TRCH, so that will not be excluded as well. And finally, thank you very much for watching. Please stay tuned.